Prime Minister Boris Johnson remains in hospital. And will the lockdown be extended? We have an update from our EBC correspondent there, JL Bautista. JL.
How are you po? Hello po, Alma.
I'm good. I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm good po. So, for today's update, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson began his fourth day in intensive care, improving in his battle with coronavirus, as his government prepared to extend a nationwide lockdown introduced last month. Johnson is the most high-profile world leader to become infected with COVID-19, and his transfer to intensive care on Monday is uncommon for a prime minister during a national emergency in modern times. Senior ministers were set to discuss at Thursday's daily coronavirus response meeting the process for extending the stringent social distancing measures rolled out on March 23. Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab, who is deputizing for Johnson, will lead the so-called war cabinet as he has done so since Monday. However, ministers have made it clear no announcement on the status of the lockdown rolled out for an initial 3 weeks would be made until the period has ended on Monday at the earliest. Attention is now increasingly focused on when it might be able to lift the unprecedented restrictions it eventually put in place to stem the spread. Despite several European countries setting out plans to ease their lockdowns, British newspapers reported Thursday the measures were set to remain in the UK into at least the month of May, as the UK suffered its most deadliest day yesterday, recording 938 new deaths in just 24 hours. Chancellor Rishi Sunak said an end to the lockdown would be based on evidence and data provided by scientists, which will not be available until next week. Meanwhile, Britain's coronavirus lockdown might get even stricter if people head out for the bank holiday weekend. The Cultural Secretary Oliver Dowden has warned. He urged people to stay at home ahead of an emergency Cobra meeting on extending the lockdown. Back to you, Alma.
All right. JL, how are the citizenry there reacting now to the condition of the Prime Minister?
Yes, so as we all know, Boris Johnson is the first world leader known to have been diagnosed with COVID-19. Many well-known political figures have expressed their sympathy for the Prime Minister. This has also increased the public's unease about how the government have responded to the outbreak, even when Johnson was in good health and leading the country. Britain was rather slower than many other European countries to shut businesses, close schools, and restrict people's movements in a bid to limit infections. The government has struggled to meet its goal of dramatically increasing the number of people tested for the virus. With the Prime Minister having contracted the virus and sent to intensive care, it clearly serves as a warning to the British public that the virus does not discriminate, and the government has put measures in place to protect everyone, to help the healthcare staff and save lives. Thank you, Alma.
Thank you, JL, and we'll see you. Stay healthy. Thank you for your time.
Thank you too. I am JL Bautista, EBC correspondent in the United Kingdom. We live in interesting times.
All right. And